according to you, what exactly change means?
Change can be anything. If I'm quoting Beck on this, even if the client says that, okay, I'll think about it, what you're talking about, is change enough.
Hmm.
Every session doesn't have to mean that I am presenting some mind blowing idea to the client आणि माझ्या डोक्याच्या मागे ते चक्र वगैरे आलंय असं काहीतरी झालंय. That's not realistic expectation of change in therapy. होतं पण. Sometimes clients have like huge insights into the session and that's also change. But change is also something very tiny. Today I'm going to start with working on my routine. That's change enough. Even if that one idea goes to, so there's this one fun activity that I like to do with my clients, which is assumption versus fact.
Hmm.
Like we play like a quick game where I go with their thoughts that I have listed. And then I'll one on one ask them, okay, so I believe that this person is never going to talk to me. Assumption, fact. So then they'll choose assumption.
Oh.
Or I am wearing a black shirt today. Fact.
Hmm.
वैसे. So this back and forth, like this tiny tool also, if they're able to understand, not even implement, understand, that's change enough according to me. Like sometimes you'll have a session and you will disregard it as productive. You will be like, आज कुछ तो काम नहीं हुआ, सिर्फ grounding techniques हुए, ठीक है मतलब next session में we'll have to maximize the time a little bit. You have to be efficient with the time a little bit, right? So all of that we'll do, and you are rating the session to be on like a 1.5 or something for you, for your performance on that session, but the client on the feedback form mentioned that it's an excellent session. So how do you match it? So there's no one definition of change is what I've come to understand.
But because in
Go on,
theory
go on.
part, they always say that change is behavioral, cognitive, emotional, all the three components. But it's
Yeah.
good to listen in theories, but practically it can be really minute things which can work
Yeah.
structure wise when my demands are very rigid. But I have some desires to, so turning your demands to desire looks very sorted cognitively, but emotionally
Yeah.
I'm not able to do. I mean, I have that sentence to turn that demand to desire, but emotionally I can't. So
Absolutely. I 100% agree there. But the one tool that I've discovered there, and I still struggle with it, I'll be honest, is validation. Validating the client's expectation कि ये होना चाहिए.
yeah.
How that is valid no matter what. It might be irrational, but it's valid. Whatever they're feeling in that moment. अब मुझे कोल्डप्ले के टिकट्स चाहिए मतलब चाहिए. I want it. I should have it. I'm at that level. So one concept that needs to be explained to the client before you turn the demandingness is that we are not saying that the expectations are not fine. Expectations should be there. You are human to have expectations. But if those expectations are going to dig your own grave, what's the point?
Yeah. Because people crib about things, and it's totally fine to crib about things.
Exactly.
And if you are too much tolerating frustration, it will lead to, how will you expect from your life for more?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you just go and tolerate things, then you will not come up and expect too much from life, and you will not work according to that.
Absolutely. So
both
with
of the things
frustration intolerance,
important.
it's not only the frustration which is intolerable, there's also a demandingness of comfort.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And people, if they are working for their comfort, then what's wrong in it?
absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. 100%. But then in that disputation, working on the demand of comfort becomes easier. So this is like a thing that I have learned in my supervision sessions as well also, that sometimes directly targeting frustration intolerance might not be a very good idea. To target a demand for it to be easy, a demand for it to be comfortable. So if you target that, that is much easier to go through. But one caveat there is that there might be one statement that comes in that, oh, life is so unfair. But so that's the global evaluation of the world that might come in here. So you need to check for that. Ki frustration intolerance ke बाद, is there an also a underlying belief that the world is an unfair place? Is there global evaluation of others also happening here? And is there another core belief which is demandingness of comfort or ease?
Right.
So they're like multiple things that branch out from the one thing.
Exactly. As a therapist, you only need to evaluate first and then you can work accordingly.
Absolutely, 100%. And self work is very important. I think Asira ma'am is the one who taught me this. Whatever problems you're going through, how are you working using REBT with them? If you can do that, it becomes fairly easier for you to work with your clients because you are your biggest critics ever. What can facilitate change is social support, their commitment to therapy, your efforts into the process, their support system supporting the fact that they need help.
Yeah.
Them being in a space that I need help.
Right.
Not perfect outcome, but effort being put. When the client says that, oh, thank you so much for your effort, we are trained to say in college that no, it's your effort. ते खोटं नाहीये, ते खरंच त्यांचे एफर्ट्स आहेत. ते थेरपीला येतात हीच मोठी गोष्ट आहे. It also takes a lot of effort to come and sit in front of you. So that part I feel can facilitate change big time. Even if they like go back and forth, like I always say, this progress is never linear. It's always going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you go straight. काय progress होत असते. But your job is to bring their attention to the progress. The progress होत राहणार. So this idea that, forgiving yourself for making mistakes in middle of the therapy process also is very important for facilitating change. And in a session about, what are the things that are not working out for you? What do you think you want to do differently in session? Like the feedback seek at the end of every session. But specifically, like a client has come up and said, Ki, Baba, I don't think that, I'm making a lot of progress. Sit with the client. Be like, okay, no problem. Let us evaluate how far we've come. Is there any progress or not? One session with the client, this happened, and then we sat and did an entire session just to understand her obstacles and what was not working out for her. And in that process, what we did was there's a goal list that I make at the start of the therapy, right? So that's our marker for, what stuff or what issues we are going to start by targeting in therapy. That is more like a guideline for us. And when we were revising this, I also had the idea that let's revise our goal list. Let's see the things that we've already worked on and are better or worse off. Let's evaluate that. And we did that, and she ended up realizing that, oh, there are 5 things on my list. 2 of them I've already worked on without even realizing. Because bad times will come to your attention like this. Good times you don't bother so much recollecting or thinking about. So that's also one more way of retraining your client's brain to notice change, to notice good things happening as well. Retraining your brain to look at realistic things. I don't believe in looking at positive things. I believe in looking at realistic things. So what are the realistic things happening around you?